Welcome to Living Stretch for an early podcast this morning. My name is Alex Shiner, along with my good friend and co-host.
My name is Paul Eppy. It's good to be back once again. We're both pretty tired, as you can probably tell. It was a long night.
Anyway. Long night, long week, not short enough night kind of thing. So try to keep this short because I'm kind of feeling a nap, not going to lie. The only thing that I have to report for the league news is James Shields was dealt to the White Sox, which was, it was under a lot of speculations for a couple of weeks that he was going to get traded. I didn't expect it to be this soon, but after what their owner said about him, I understand why he was moved this soon. After that kind of came out, I kind of realized that he was probably going to get dealt sooner than what we all expected. That's all I got for that.
It's the White Sox, they made the move, and it's kind of fun to see a team like that want to contend. You don't see a trade that really should happen at the trade deadline happen on June 8th or whatever it was. But it was good to see it, and sure enough, when he made his first start, he got booed off the field. He just got absolutely torched by the Nationals. I forget how many home runs it was, but it was at least 2 or 3 home runs. He only lasted 2 or 3 innings. He just got lit up and booed off the field. And the White Sox, since they had that pretty hot start, they've been absolutely terrible ever since. I think that this trade will help them, but I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to really make or break anything for them. They're going to be on the fence when it comes to the playoffs, I think. But if it works out for them, great. That's a really good addition in James Shields. But if he pitches like he did in his first start, then it's going to be tough to watch. Alex, the only league news I have for you is when a couple of days ago the Orioles and the Royals were playing each other, and Yordano Ventura was on the mound, and he decided to go after Manny Machado, and Machado then acted accordingly and charged Ventura. There was a lot of hoopla about it. Should Machado have done it? What's going through his mind? They both got fined. They both got suspended. I think it was Machado for 4 games, and then Ventura for 8. I think I had the numbers right. I'm not sure.
It was 9 games.
9. Okay. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, just because we just hit it a second ago, the suspension process for that I think is wrong, because Ventura may only miss 1 start, 2 starts.
Yeah.
Which I think is dumb. I think if you suspend a pitcher, it should be for an amount of starts, not an amount of games. I agree
completely. Yeah.
So we kind of talked about that the other day. A couple of my buddies, we got together and we're sitting some softballs and stuff, and kind of was talking about that. And I just don't think that it's fair. And then I was watching MLB Tonight, and they were talking about it. If you guys haven't watched that, it's really good. Break down a lot of good things, and it's an awesome show. But Eric Burns kind of was saying that, I'm tired of hearing all the Ventura. What about Machado? Machado's half the problem, blah, blah, blah. But in my mind, I don't think that Machado's half the problem. If you look at Ventura's track record, he stared down Mike Trout on an RBI single, was it last year, something like that, for no reason. It was an RBI single. He literally did nothing wrong. He ran to first base, didn't sit there and watch it, didn't do nothing. And I don't think he ever came out and said anything. Well, then Mike Trout scored, and he went chest up to him, faced him one-on-one. And, I don't know if he feels like he has something to prove. But if that's the case, he should prove it by pitching, not prove it by getting into fights.
Exactly.
And also, if you throw behind Manny Machado the whole game and then all of a sudden you hit him once, yeah, he's got a right to charge you. Shoot, I'd charge you. Like that's a little ridiculous saying that it's Machado's fault too. It's not really. I don't think Machado should have got suspended at all.
And let's not forget that it was a 99-mile-an-hour fastball right at his, I guess, his elbow, or I don't know.
It hit him in the ribs.
I don't know what he was aiming for, but it looked like it was sort of in like the elbow rib cage area.
Yeah, right below the elbow, hit him right in the ribs.
Yeah, I sort of, I mean, name me somebody who wouldn't go after the pitcher. Ventura, like you said, has a history of getting into it and provoking people and sort of stirring the pot. And that's fine. I don't mind the competitiveness, but when you have a history of fighting, that's a different story. It's not that hard to. It's common sense. You don't throw at people. I like what Adam Jones said. He said that Ventura is a great talent and he's got some good stuff on the mound, but there's not something right between the ears. There's a circuit board off or something. I think that's what he said, and I think that's exactly right. Like Ventura's a good pitcher. He was in the World Series the past couple of years. He's good, but there's a difference between being good and throwing at people. Anyway,
I don't know if it's true, but does Nolan Arenado really have 19 dingers already?
I think he does. Yeah. I think him and Adam Duvall are leading the National League.
I'll be honest. There's going to be a time where hitting 100 dingers in his season is not going to be unheard of. You're halfway through the third month of the season. You already have 20.
Well, think about it in the sense of how many games have been played rather than where you are in the calendar. Because,
I mean, still you play till September.
Right, late September.
Yeah, I mean, so I just think that's impressive. That's an impressive feat right there, hitting 20 dingers already, and it's what's today's date? I don't know.
June 11th.
June 11th is right there. I mean, June 11th, and you don't start till late March, and so.
Oh, that's why.
Impressive.
I just thought of this for another league news thing. I want to get your thoughts on if you've seen the NL All-Star voting so far.
Actually, I haven't. I'm actually going to look up here real quick. Anthony Rizzo's leading it at first base. Not even a contest there. I mean, it's almost over 1 million views difference. Paul Goldschmidt's not even – he's fourth. Brandon Belt's second. Adrian Gonzalez is third. Paul Goldschmidt's fourth. John Jaso's fifth. Second base has been Zobrist number 1. That's not even a contest right now.
Nope.
Third base is Chris Bryant at third, which is stupid. Nolan Arenado is so much better defensively and offensively than
my main issue is with the third base. I appreciate the Cubs and what they're doing this season, but if you think Chris Bryant's better than Nolan Arenado, you need to get your head checked.
Well, then Addison Russell's the starting shortstop, which I don't think is correct.
I don't agree with that either.
Brandon Crawford, in my eyes, would start that game for me.
I'll take Trevor Story right now.
Yeah, and that's not bad. I mean, I'm okay with Trevor Story. I'm just thinking all-around game. Trevor Story's not a Gold Glove shortstop. He's Silver Slugger shortstop, and I'll be completely honest. I really can't say that he's not Gold Glove. I've never seen him play.
And that he's only had – this is his rookie season, so give him some time as well.
Exactly. Like, the Rockies even came to St. Louis, and I think I was so busy that week I didn't even watch a Cardinal game to see Trevor Story, like, at Busch Stadium. Catchers, Yadier Molina's winning that, but barely to Buster Posey.
Pretty close.
And to be honest, I feel like that should be the race. Yadier Molina and Buster Posey is going to be 1 and 2, I think, for the next few years. And I thought it was a fluke when people said that Jonathan Lucroy should be number 1 a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Because that was dumb. Jonathan Lucroy he had one good season, but he didn't hit a lot of power. He hit a lot of doubles. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a Gold Glove catcher. Like, that wasn't going to happen. He swung the stick. He hit a lot of doubles. But, I mean, other than that, he wasn't – I mean, he doesn't He doesn't shut down an entire running game. He doesn't know his pitchers like Yadier Molina does. Like, that's not taken into any kind of thought process at all. The outfielders looks like Dexter Fowler, Bryce Harper, and Yoenis Cespedes all in the million. And then the fourth.
What are your thoughts on Dexter Fowler? I think he's good. I like him.
I think he's good too. I just think that there's other center fielders that are better. Like Andrew McCutchen, in my eyes, is hands down better than Dexter Fowler. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think that's even a conversation to say.
And when it comes to the All-Star game and having casual fans watch, who's gonna want to watch Dexter Fowler? Honestly,
I know I don't want to watch Dexter Fowler.
I want to watch Andrew McCutchen. But whatever.
Yeah, Andrew McCutchen is on here. Cargo's 9. Hunter Pence is 8. Jorge Soler is 6.
Oh yeah, that's sort of the surprising one to me is holy crap, he's actually close.
And Giancarlo Stanton's 13th.
Well, he's having a terrible season.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like
hit 200.
Yeah. And then just a quick thing, we can talk about this in a second, but just a quick thing so everybody knows. The only Cardinals listed in the running as of right now is Matt Carpenter for third base is actually currently third in that voting.
And I think he'll get in. Not through the fan vote, but he'll get in somehow.
I think so too. Yadier Molina, like we stated, is number 1 in the catcher's department. And then Stephen Piscotty is 12th on the outfielders.
And I think he'll get in somehow too. And like we said a few weeks ago, I think it'll be Carpenter, Piscotty, Molina. I think you got to put Sangwon O in there. And
honestly,
I'm not sure who else. I think that's probably about it.
Honestly, and I don't know if he qualifies with the amount of innings, but if Matt Adams keeps swinging the stick like he is, I could see him getting in too.
You could see him getting one of those last spots, sure.
Aledmus Diaz, I think maybe not this year, but I think in years to come is going to be a mainstay in the All-Star game.
Sure.
That's another thing too. Is I want to hit on after we get done with this is the thought. Do you like the thought process of moving Johnny Peralta to the third? Do you wish they would have put Aledmus Diaz at second, Johnny Peralta at shortstop? We'll get into that when we get to the Cardinal news. But yeah, like I stated, there's only 3 Cardinals right now in the All-Star voting. There's still a lot of time left. If you don't like me and Paul, if you don't like the way that the voting's happening,
if you don't like Chris Bryant at third base, well, go vote.
Yeah, if you don't like the way that the outfield's shaping up with Jorge Soler at 6, above Stephen Piscotty at 12,
and Jorge Soler's above Andrew McCutchen too.
Go vote. This isn't like a presidential, campaign. You're not voting for things and expecting the person that's your elective to vote for that person. No, you have a straight impact on what's going on here, and things can change in the blink. It happened last year. Yep. It was all Royals last year for the AL, and then people kind of realized that it was kind of bogus, and got in there. Nothing to the Royals that got out. I just don't see Alcides Escobar as a starting shortstop for the AL shortstop. Yeah. And you know what? Real quickly, while I have this up, that was the NL, which is really all anybody cares about on here. Let's go and let's check out the AL real quick. Okay. Eric Hosmer's leading the pack at the first base position. That's not really that's kind of surprising with Miguel Cabrera being there. Jose Abreu is 5 on that one. To your credit, Jose Altuve is number 1 for the second baseman.
Yeah.
Robinson Cano is 3. That race is still really close there at second base. Manny Machado is number 1. Mike Moustakas is hurt, and he's number 2.
Yeah,
Josh Donaldson is 3.
I think Machado should be first there. He's a good third.
Yeah. Josh Johnson, in my eyes, should be second. I don't think Mike Moustakas should even be on the list right now.
That'll change, I'm sure, as people realize, he's hurt. Yeah, that'll change.
Xander Bogaerts is leading the pack at the shortstop.
No surprise.
He's got 1 million votes. Honestly, I kind of like that pick.
He's a great pick, for sure.
I would say either him or Carlos Correa should win that one, but Carlos Correa is kind of having a down year, and he's only got 300,000 votes. That's another thing. It's really weird seeing that the NL shortstop spot open. Usually, Troy Tulowitzki's been kind of the guy you just kind of have to accept he's going to be there at the starting shortstop for the NL there for a couple of years. Uh, the catcher spot now is Salvador Perez, which is a good choice in my eyes. I don't think that there's really a better one in the AL in my eyes. And then your outfield shapes up. Your top three are Mike Trout, Lorenzo Cain, and Jackie Bradley Jr. I honestly am okay with that. I think there's
I mean,
maybe
Trout is the obvious choice. If he's not in there, then there's something wrong. Kane, solid choice. Jackie Bradley Jr. also good. I think Mookie Betts should be a little bit higher. Just looking at this right now, Jose Bautista's having a good year, but I mean, if you're looking to field the best team, probably Mookie Betts. But you can argue for any one of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of, like I said, a lot of these positions are kind of wide open. There's not a lot of cut and dry. There's very few that this player should be there and no other person should.
There's not a lot of votes in between. In the American League outfield, there's not a lot of votes.
There's not a lot of votes.
There is a lot of votes, but that's because Trout's the best player in the league. But when you go from, second, and there's a tie for third, it looks like it because I got 1, 2. The way it's listed here, on MLB.com is Mike Trout 1, Lorenzo Cain 2, Bradley 4, Trumbo 4. So it implies there's a tie for third, but the number of votes says otherwise. So I guess there was a typo. Yeah. But when you look at it, there's not a lot of votes between these guys.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the first baseman one, there's a big split in there for the AL. The catcher, there's a big split in there. I think shortstop, third base, and second base is still wide open. So is the outfield position is wide open. And then let's get down to one of my favorite parts of playing in a all-star game is the designated hitter. And as you can guess, David Ortiz is leading that hands down. No one's going to beat him on. Yeah. It's his last year. He's going to win it. I don't want to hear anybody bitching and moaning that he's in there. He deserves it. He's going to get 40 dingers.
I don't think you're going to hear anybody bitching and moaning about it because he's the best. I mean, there's really no argument to be made.
Yeah, I don't think that it's too crazy. I just think that it's I think you always find somebody who has a problem with it. Some people might think Nelson Cruz deserves a spot in the designated hitter position. But
if you don't like it, then go vote.
Exactly. Like I said, that's what I wanted to tell everybody. If you don't like the way things are looking for the AL or NL, I'm an NL guy, but I like some AL players. If I don't like the way that it's shaping up, I'm gonna go vote. My vote matters in this. Like, don't say, there's 1 million votes and my guy's only down. He's down by 300,000. That's not gonna matter. Well, your vote may start a change in the way things are going. Somebody might go, oh, okay, I'm gonna vote for him too, and then people are like, man, they actually have a point. Third base in the NL should be Nolan Arenado, not Chris Bryant. Like, that's how it should be. And I'm eventually gonna vote. I think that's a little ridiculous. But that is the AL and the NL voting as of right now. Things are going to change. They do an update. The next update will be next Tuesday for the AL, and then will be next Wednesday for the NL. Yep. So keep posted on that. Like I said, if you guys don't like the way things are going, you have plenty of time to change it. So go ahead and go do that.
And you can vote 35 times. So, I mean, that'll take some time, but I mean, spread your votes out.
Exactly. Unless you feel like, in my mind right now, I might use all 35 of my votes for Nolan Arenado, or I might use half of mine to put Robinson Cano in that starting second baseman spot.
Right.
I split it out. Vote for the players you want. Don't think you have to vote for, one player with every vote. You can, vote a couple here, vote a couple there, spread it out. Things like that.
That's all I got for league news. Going over to Cardinals stuff, the big news this week was the return of Johnny Peralta and the demotion of Colton Wong. Funny enough, though, Colton Wong in his first game for the Memphis Redbirds hit 2 home runs, and I think it was 1 or 2 grand slams, and he had a walk-off home run.
It was a walk-off grand slam is what it was.
Yeah. So Peralta moved to third. Diaz is still at shortstop, and Matt Carpenter moved to his natural position over at second base. You had alluded to it a few minutes ago. Are there thoughts on moving Peralta to third? I don't have an issue with it. I think it's fine. He does have some experience over at third base. Obviously, it's not his first position and probably not his preferred position. But to be honest with you, Colton Wong was the odd man out, so something had to change there. It didn't surprise me. Hopefully, for his sake, he can come back up soon. But I don't have an issue with Peralta going to third. Carpenter, his natural position is over at second anyway. That was his first position. And Diaz, you have to keep him in because of what he's done this year.
Yeah, I think Colton Wong is I don't know, he's like my favorite player. I don't know why. I saw him play a couple years ago. I love the position second base. Colton Wong is my guy. And when he's struggling, it wasn't like, oh man, he sucks, send him down. I didn't get frustrated with him. I think he's putting too much of that pressure on him. I think I was one of the people that thought that he should go down, get that work in, take ground balls every day, make sure he's in the lineup every day, get at bats, see left-handed pitching, see right-handed pitching. Some maybe some at bats he goes up there and doesn't swing at all. He's just watching pitches. You get a lot more work done in the minor leagues than what you do in the major leagues. You have a lot more time spaced out to do stuff like
that. There's a lot less pressure.
The ballpark for exactly. 162 game schedule, and you put it in 6 months, 5-6 months. That's a lot. I mean, you're taking up a lot of time right there. That's an impressive amount of time. So that's basically you show up to the ballpark at noon on a 7 o'clock game. You run, you hit in the cage, maybe field some ground balls, and then by then you're eating lunch, and then you're getting ready for a game. There's not a whole lot of time in there to get everything working the way it should. In the minor leagues, I think Colton can get that work in, can make sure he has that feel for the ground ball. He needs to work on fielding the ground ball right at him. I don't know why that's a problem for him, but it is. I think it was a great move. I enjoy watching Johnny Peralta play third base. I feel like at some point in time with him in the Cardinals, everybody's been speculating that he was going to eventually move there anyway. I think it'll work out pretty good. He's got a strong arm. He's got some range to him. And I love watching Matt Carpenter play second base. All in all, I think that they made the right decision. Mm-hmm. The problem now that's going to happen is when Brian Pena is ready to go, do you leave him down in AAA or do you put Eric Fryer back down there? I enjoyed watching Eric Fryer play.
I enjoy watching him play too, but I'd still rather have Brian Pena than Eric Fryer.
I don't know. I haven't watched either of them enough. I know Brian Pena doesn't really – I mean, he's not shutting down a running game. I mean, he's not throwing out runners at an extreme high amount. No,
he's not, but he's eating but he's going to eat some innings behind the plate, and that's what you need at this point.
Well, and that's fine. I've never seen I've never heard of Eric Fryer until this year. I don't know what kind of catcher he is. They signed him basically as an insurance policy. And so far, they were right. They needed him. I think he's done a great job. He can hit. He's definitely faster than Yadier Molina and Brian Pena. He's got some speed. I don't think it's the innings part behind the plate that's beneficial from Pena. I think it's more he's a switch hitter.
He can hit pretty well. He really can.
So I don't think it's more of he can eat innings, because how many innings you can eat when you have Yadier Molina on your team? I don't think that that's a problem. I think that's more of he hits from both sides of the plate, which is really nice to have in your lineup.
That is nice to have in the lineup, but I just feel like down the stretch in September, and especially if the Cardinals are contending, you're going to need to be selective on the days that Yadier Molina is not going to be playing, because you're going to need him in the lineup, especially if they're contending for a wild card spot. And the days that he is off, you need somebody in there that is going to be productive, and I think that is Brian Pena, and that is a good choice to have.
I'll tell you this. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just think that Eric Fryer can do the exact same job. He wasn't signed, obviously, to do that. He wasn't signed as the backup catcher. That's Brian Pena's job, and I've always liked Brian Pena. I've never had a reason not to like him. He's versatile. He can play some first base too. When it comes to the backup catcher, I honestly, this is going to hurt some people's feelings, especially if you're a backup catcher and you watch this. But I honestly feel like if you're a catcher and you're signed by a team who already has a stud catcher, I don't think it matters who you put as the backup, because I think it's going to do the exact same job as the other one. I think Fryer and Pena can do the exact same job. I don't know who can do it better. I think that the innings eat up. I think Fryer can do it. I think hitting. I actually think Fryer's better hitting. Fryer's got better speed. But maybe calling a game is not Fryer's specialty, because I know Brian Pena can call a good game as well.
And let's not forget that Brian Pena and Mike Leake played together in Cincinnati for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe it's nice having a specialty catcher or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't care the way. I just know that Eric Fryer's producing now at a very nice rate. It's going to really be interesting to see what happens when he's ready to go. I could honestly see it as, Pena's ready to go, send Grichuk down, get him some work so that he can figure it out. And
that's the thing I want to ask you is, and that's my next question to you, is what happens with Randal Grichuk, because he's done nothing with the bat in his hands ever since he had that walk-off home run against the Cubs, and that was like 3 weeks ago. He just isn't producing, and that's why they demoted him to the 8th spot. And he's sort of becoming a hole in your lineup. And the Cardinals have touted him as this player who's going to be the center fielder of the future, and he's going to be good. And I'm not doubting that he will be that, but for the time being, he's not doing much of anything. And I'm not sure what Tommy Pham's doing out in Memphis. I should probably look at his numbers. But my guess is that they are probably better than what Grichuk is doing. I think Tommy Pham should get a chance in the outfield for the Cardinals. I think he will at some point. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with Colton Wong. I don't know if he's putting pressure on himself. I don't know if he's hearing all the talk about how he's the center fielder of the future and wants to perform now. I don't know what it is. I personally really like Randal Grichuk a lot. I liked him a lot when they made the trade. I think he should be sent down. I think people have the wrong perception of when you get sent down. People view it as, oh, he sucks. Send him down. Not worth the team. That's not why they send people down. He needs to be sent down for work. He needs to get his work in. He needs to take at bats. I think a coach told him that he needs to see the ball more, and he's taking that literal. So he's watching a lot of strikes go by him, and he's not swinging his bat.
I don't know if you watched last night's game against the Pirates, it was the 12-inning one. Grichuk had an at bat. It was in the extra innings, but I forget what inning it was. He just swung at 3 garbage pitches. One was in the dirt. One handcuffed him. I think the third one was in the dirt too. And I just thought to myself, holy crap. He's been doing this for a while now, and it just sort of hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, wow, he has done a whole bunch of nothing.
It's the same thing when we talked about with the youth pitching. People have the wrong perspective on when they send a player down. It's not that the player sucks. It's the fact that there's something either going on mentally, something's going on physically, that he needs to be sent down to work on it, to get called back up and
just
be able to
fix
help
it and come back. Yeah.
Exactly. It's not you're down there, you're gonna be down there for life. No team's gonna want you because that's not it. If I tell you right now, if Randall Grichuk ever made it to where he was released, it would take no time for a team to pick up Randall Grichuk.
Oh, right.
No time at all. If Colton Long would have been released by sitting down, it'd take no time at all for some team who needs a second baseman or just a player in general to pick him up. Like, people have the wrong perspective on what happens when he gets sitting down, and I think that what needs to change because it's not all bad. I would rather Randall Grichuk get sent down, get his work, either have Jeremy Hazelbaker start at center field, bring up Tommy Pham to start at center field, then watch Randall Grichuk strike out on 3 balls that aren't even close to the strike zone. And that way when he comes back up, he can perform. I think Randall Grichuk is a 25 home run guy, can drive in close to 100 runs. I think that he's going to eventually perform. He's going to eventually form into that player. A lot of people think he's going to form into that player. I just think that there's something going on in his head that is blocking him from what's going on. And I think that once he gets that figured out, it's a whole new Randall Grichuk. They've already changed his stance once. Then that didn't work, and they've changed it now again. He's got a different stance now.
He does.
I didn't like the one before the one he has now. It just seemed like they were trying to form him into another Albert Pujols, and that was not the right way to go. I think he needs to get in the box, and whatever stance is comfortable for him, use that one. That way, and take cuts, multiple cuts. But yeah, I would love to see Tommy Pham come up, see what he can do. He was a firecracker for us last year. I would enjoy watching him play center field for the Cardinals.
And I think he will be for a while. And like you said, he's going to turn into that. I have faith in him. I have faith in Colton Wong. But for right now, the Cardinals need to win games. And the best way to win games is to not field some of these guys, to be honest with you. If that involves sending Colton and Randall down to get their work in and fix themselves, I'm all for it. It is what it is.
It's got to be a rough life for Jed Jerko, for real.
Yeah.
He comes over on the trade thinking, Colton Wong's not playing that well. I'm going to get a lot of play time. All of a sudden, Colton Wong gets sent down a couple months into the season, and, who's starting at second base? That's right, the leadoff guy for the Cardinals, who's an on-base machine. Yep.
Carpenter, yeah.
You're going to get only a couple starts, maybe a month.
My last point, though, is, and I'll end with this, like I said, the Cardinals bench is really, really good. And that's we talked a lot about how the Cardinals really haven't had a good middle infield for years. They also haven't really had a good bench for years. They have a really good bench. When you have Jed Jerko and either Brandon Moss or Matt Adams, whoever isn't playing that day, on the bench, Jeremy Hazelbaker, that's really good.
Right now, too, because you said his name and everything, I think right now your lineup has to have your mainstays in it. I think it's time to get rid of the platooning at some positions. Get the people in there that when they show up to the ballpark, they know they're starting. Yadier Molina is going to be your starting catcher. You know that from day one. Matt Carpenter now is your starting second baseman. You know that. You're starting shortstop, Ledmus Diaz. Finally, that's been secured and locked up at that position, which is great. Johnny Peralta is your starting third baseman. Holiday's left field. Grichuk, maybe Pham, center field, whenever that gets situated, and Piscotty's at right field. I think the one position now that needs to be fixed and totally fixed and stay the way it is until he needs a day off is first base. And in my mind, Matt Adams deserves his spot at first base.
And it's kind of weird to think about Brandon Moss being a possible bench piece. I mean, he's good. I mean, he hits for a lot of power. I mean, he's sort of like Mark Reynolds. He hits a lot of power, but gets a lot of strikeouts. But you don't think of having a guy like Brandon Moss on the bench, but that's the way that the Cardinals are probably looking at right now.
Well, when they traded for him, that's what he was supposed to be, was bench help. Because when they traded for him, we had no bench. I mean, he was supposed – if you value it, he was supposed to be the centerpiece of the bench players to come off the bench and hit dingers. That's what Brandon Moss was, and I think now it's starting to form into that. I think that trade now is finally starting to see its full potential, and Matt Adams deserves his spot at first base and deserves to start there every single day. So, Mike Matheny, if you watch this, God, I hope you have more important things than to watch this show. But if you're watching this, Matt Adams deserves his spot at first base every single day until he needs a day off for rest, and then he deserves to go right back out.
Yep, I agree. You know what? That's all I got, dude. Do you have anything else?
No, that's all I got. The only thing I'm gonna reiterate it now: if you do not like the way the All-Star voting is, you have the power to change it. Just go out, vote, change it. I want you. It's for the fans. So watch players you want to watch. Don't watch a whole Cubs team when you could just turn on ESPN and watch the highlights from the game before and see the exact same game. Change the voting. I think it's wrong that a whole team starts for the All-Star game because they're not all All-Stars at their positions. Change it. Go out and change it. But other than that, that's all I got.
That's all I got too. Like you said, go out and change it. And for me, at least, go vote for Nolan Arenado. Not Chris Bryant. Sorry, Chris Bryant. Sorry, Cubs fans. He's not an all-star third baseman right now. Future, probably is. But that's all I have. This is the 11th inning stretch and our podcast on June 11th. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next week. My name is Paul Epi.
My name is Alex Schneider.
And once again, it was good to be with you, and we'll be back next week.
See you guys.